starting with the 2020 paper. Company employees means fleet receive without providing a service. No, guys, compensation of employees is the return that you're getting for providing your labor, right? So inside compensation of employees, you will have wages and salaries. You might have bonuses. You might have fringe benefits. For example, they might give you like a telephone allowance, a fuel allowance, right? No, pensions won't come under compensation of employees. No, right? So compensation of employees might have, let's say, EPF contributions, right? What the business pays on behalf of you, because pensions and those are transfers, those don't come under compensation of employees. Okay, right. Next question, question 19. The difference between gross value of output and gross value added is what? Very simple, guys. If you know the equation, you can give me an answer. What's the difference between GVO and GVA? From GVO, if you do something, you get GVA. That's the difference. What's the difference? The difference is intermediate consumption. That's a very simple question. So from gross value added, if you minus the intermediate consumption, you get gross value. Sorry, gross value of output, you minus the intermediate consumption, you get gross value added. Simple as that. Next one. In national accounting, which of the following activities is excluded from the production boundary? Excluded. Services of unlicensed medical practitioners. Unlicensed medical practice means that's an illegal activity. Services of owner-occupied dwellings. Goods produced by household. Provision of education free of charge by the government. Caring for sick and old people by members of the household. Which of this is excluded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So far, most of you have given me the correct answer. Others? Which of this is excluded? Yes. The first activity is an illegal activity, right? Just because it is illegal, do we exclude it? It's illegal, correct. But just because it's illegal, you don't exclude. Now remember, according to new standard, illegal activities can also be included as long as there is a productive thing happening. So services of an unlicensed medical practitioner. Now, for example, let's say now I don't have a license to practice medicine. Now, remember they were going to say, remember they told in the news they are going to bring a license for tuition teachers, which I definitely feel is a good thing, right? So let's say then there is, okay, let's say for example, they bought a license for tuition teachers, and let's say for example, I didn't take that license. That means I am an unlicensed teacher. Let's assume they say from next year onwards, 2024 onwards, you have to get a license to do tuition class. I have not got the license. So I am an unlicensed teacher, meaning what I am doing is illegal. But does that mean that will not be included in GDP? Because I am providing a productive service, right? Just because I don't have the license, that doesn't mean my service is not productive. So remember now, even illegal activities are included. So even though this is illegal, given that there is a productive thing happening, you will include. Then ownership of dwellings, you include. Remember I told you in the fast track also I explained, if you are living in your own house, the government thinks that you're providing a housing service for yourself. Now, you're living in your own house means you itself are providing a housing service for yourself. So government will estimate a value for that and they will include in GDP. That's what you call services of owner-occupied dwelling. Goods produced by households include, guys, let's say you grow vegetables in your garden, I don't know, do something, and let's say do some handmade products, or you sew some clothes for you, okay, including GDP. Provision of free education by the government, yes, that is government expenditure, right, included. But this one, the fifth one, caring for sick and old people, this is not included. Why? This is a service provided by households for themselves. So usually services provided for households for themselves, except this ownership of dwellings part is not included in GDP. Why? Because you can't put a number to it. Now, for example, how are you going to put a number now? Let's say your mother is taking care of your grandfather or grandmother. Okay. How are you going to put a number to that? This is worth 10,000. This is worth 15,000. You can't put a number to that. Therefore, you don't include. Let's say your mother sweeps the house, right? Service provided by households for themselves. How are you going to put a number? You can't. So therefore, not include. The answer is number 5. Why not the fourth one? This is a productive service, right? Providing education free of charge by the government. So it's a service provided by the government. So government provides education, it's there in GDP. Government provides healthcare, including GDP. Government provides, let's say, transportation, you include in GDP, right? Just because it's given free, you can't say no. There is a cost to the government. Remember, expenditure approach under G. Yeah. Education leisure not included. Leisure is not included. Education. It's like this. It's the education level that is not there. Right now, for example, GDP won't take into consideration the level of education of the people. That doesn't mean the education of expenditure you don't include. No, there's nothing like that, right? Dwellings means houses, guys. Dwellings. Remember, under the shortcomings or the limitations of GDP, I think that's where the question is coming from. We say that GDP does not take into consideration the level of leisure or the amount of leisure the people have. That is, it might not take into consideration level of education also. So, for example, let's say Sri Lanka's okay. For example, let's say Sri Lanka's GDP is 100 million. Japan's GDP also, let's say 100 million. Okay. Okay. So, can we say just because the GDP is equal, can we say the level of education between the two countries are equal? Sri Lanka's people's education level and Japanese people education level equal? No, right? That's what you say, a limitation. And can we say the amount of leisure time is equal? Can you say Sri Lankan people are having good leisure time, Japanese people also having equal leisure time? No, you can't say that. That's why we call the limitation. Don't confuse those, right? Don't overthink stuff. Okay. Now, going to the next 21. Right. This is an interesting question. The main components of primary income are, what do you all think? Compensation of employees, gross operating surplus, and net taxes on production and imports. Compensation of employees, operating surplus, and other net taxes on production. Compensation of employees, gross operating surplus and mixed income. Compensation of employees, operating surplus and consumption of fixed capital. Compensation of employees, gross operating surplus, and other net taxes on production. What do you all think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is a little bit of a tricky one. Which one do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Give me your answers until I drink some water. 5. Are you sure? Check the marking scheme. It's not 5. I know I didn't check the marking scheme recently, but I remember it was not 5. Now, if I got this question, I also would have gone for 5. Okay. But the A-level marking scheme, answer for 19 and 20, I'll come to it, but otherwise, guys, you all can get the answers from your past paper book, right? Now, so the main components, okay, of primary income is answer number 1, right? In primary income, we also include now the difference between answer number 1 and 5, okay? Compensation of employees are there. Gross operating surplus is also there. Net taxes on production, other taxes on production. The only difference is this taxes on imports. Okay, so this is something that I also got clarified after this paper was out. Okay, in my tute and all, it should be there, guys. Go and check for those who have my theory tute. Okay, so under primary income, now primary income also. Okay, so if I'm define what primary income is, primary income is the income of different parties. So you have the households, you have the firms, you have the government, right? Different parties are there. So their income, that's what you call primary income. So here, compensation of employees is the income for households. Gross operating surplus income for firms. So when you are taking the income for the government, apart from net indirect taxes, right? Apart from indirect taxes, you're taking everything else. So you're taking net taxes on production and imports. That's a point for you all to remember, guys. So when we learn this whole thing called primary income, remember it has this, and also there is taxes on imports. So let me cut off the other answers, right? Now here, for example, this one talks about operating surplus. Now operating surplus is a component of gross operating. Now inside gross operating surplus only, you have operating surplus, mixed income, all of that. So, okay, therefore it's not, right? Now, third one, why is it wrong? Because mixed income usually we consider it inside gross operating surplus. Compensation of employees, gross operating surplus, inside that only you have mixed income. This one is not taking into consideration the government's income, wrong. Then fourth one, again, government's income is not there, right? The fifth one, this imports part is not there. So the most correct one is answer number 1, guys. I'll tell you it's a little bit of a tricky question, because even if I went and answered this for the first time, I would have gone with answer number 5. Okay, is that okay? Fine. 2020 question number 1. That's the thing to note. So put a star and keep. Right. Next one. 2022. Right. If personal income exceeded national income, not, guys, imports is not the income, it's taxes on imports. Here, net taxes on production and imports. We are not saying imports is income, we are saying the taxes on imports. Read the question carefully. Then, if personal income exceeded national income, guys, do you all remember, did we do this? Did I do this in the fast track or here? I remember discussing a question very similar to this. Where did we do this? Fast track? Right. I will have taken it from here. Right. So gross national income is the country's income, national income. From this, when you're going to personal income, there are certain things that you add, right? There are certain things that you deduct. Can you give me certain things that we add, guys? So what are we adding? Whatever that has to be a part of personal income, but it's not in national income. Households are getting it, but it's not a part of national income. What and what do we add? We add transfers, right? So transfers will include what? Pensions, samurdhi benefits, things like that. What else do we add? We can add government interest payments, right? Then we can add any social security benefits. Okay, what else do we add? It's a part of personal income, but not in national income. What else? Okay, we'll think of those are the main ones. What do you deduct? It's a part of national income, but households don't get it. What and what do we deduct? Now, income tax doesn't come here. Income tax goes from personal income to disposable person. You deduct corporate tax. Okay. You deduct undistributed profits, right? undistributed profit. You might deduct social security contribution. Okay, you might deduct things like what? What? Consumption of fixed capital. You might so why do we deduct CFC, guys? Because CFC is a part of gross national income, but personal income, does households get something called consumption of fixed capital? No, that's not a part of their income. That's why we minus those, right? CFC, what else? You can take government income, right? Different government stuff. So all of these you minus. Now, guys, I'm not going into theory parts, right? I'm hoping you all have learned this. Why we add this, why we minus. I'm just recapping, guys. Okay. So go back to your theory notes and all of it and see. So from national income, we can add net secondary income also here. Okay. Net secondary income. Okay. So from national income, we add certain things, we minus certain things, then we get to personal income. So in our question, they are asking if personal income exceeded national income. For example, this is 120, but this is only 100. Okay. Why do you think? How come personal income is more than national income? That would have been because, right, we have added, let's say, something like 30 and we have deducted only 20. So whatever these things that we added are more than whatever we deducted. Do you agree with me there? That is why, sorry, it's not 20, maybe 10, right? Because whatever we added, now we added 30, but deducted only 10. So therefore, personal income will be higher than national income. So you'll need to take some time to think about it if you're not very sure. So think, guys, what can you go with as an answer? First one says amount of transfer payments, okay, that's the addition, exceeded the sum of social security contribution, okay, corporate taxes, okay, and undistributed profit. Can that be the answer? Amount of transfer payments, that is this, was more than this. Could be the answer, right? We are finding for an answer like that. We'll see. The sum of social security contribution, corporate income tax, undistributed profit exceeded transfer. Then it's wrong. Now, if all of those are what we deduct, if these are higher than the other one, then you'll get a lesser number. Let's take some time and think, okay? Right. So wrong. Then sum of social security contribution and corporate income tax exceeded indirect taxes. Indirect taxes doesn't really affect. Amount of transfer payment exceeded the sum of social security contribution, corporate income taxes, and indirect taxes. Indirect taxes, again, is not a part anywhere. Sum of corporate income taxes and indirect taxes is not a part of anything. So which one is our answer? Answer is number 1. How many of you all got this correct, guys? Yes. Not a khana shot correct, but with some proper logic, you got it correct. Yes. So, okay, right. For those who are a little weak in this case, go back to your Unit 5 theory tute or whatever note that you are studying. In that, there will be a section that talks about personal income or household income. Probably towards the end. In the income approach, towards the end, there should be something like that. Okay. This question is coming from them. So they are asking, how can the personal income or the household income be more than the national income? So, for example, national income, let's say, is 100. How come the personal income is 120? How is that more? That is because, right, we have added, let's say, for example, 30, but minus only 10. So this transfers and all of it is more than what we have deducted. Social security contribution is deducted, guys. social security benefit is added. Now, for example, EPF, ETF, you're contributing towards it. No, you're not getting it. No. That is deducted, right? So the corporate taxes, the undistributed profit, the social security contribution. So if transfers are more than all of these, then personal income will be higher, right? So if you didn't understand, please take some time here. These are questions that you should be good with, because there's a lot to learn from this one. Right. We'll move to the next one is the next paper. Right. So far, how did you all do? 2020, 1, 2, 3, and 4 questions. 4 out of 4. 3, 2. Others? Component gross value added, we cannot consider other taxes less subsidies. We take for GVA, other taxes less subsidies on production are there under GVA. Income approach. Income approach GVA, go to your note and see there is something called other taxes less subsidies on production. Okay, right. So with that, 2020 is also